Okay, I just wanted to hop on really quick and showcase some of the brushes that are on sale right now in Saints summer sale, 40% off. I'm going to use a few of them and show you how I use them. Um, I always start off with the blend brush, and I use the smaller end to color correct under my eyes. The larger end I love for blending my eyeshadows. I also will use it to sometimes add in a little bit of bronzer if I want to use a smaller brush instead of the big fluffy brush. And you can just add a little bit of color. It's a bronzer, so I usually add it to the high points. And it just gives a little bit of a sun-kissed look. You can use this also to apply your main highlight. I've done that before if I want a very light coverage, more natural looking. The fluffier the brush, the lighter the coverage is going to be, where the denser the brush, the more full coverage you're going to get. So that's the blend brush, applying bronzer. Now if I wanted to go in and add a little bit of my main highlight, this is Hazel for my summer color. Using that fluffy end, this just gives a really light coverage. Finding that less is definitely better on my more mature skin. So that's the fluffy end of the blend brush. Just a very light application. Okay, so also the wash brush, it's very similar to the blend brush, but the fluffy end is a little bit bigger. This one is also 40% off. Here's the difference. They look very similar. The blend brush, I like the smaller end. It's a little more tapered, and it works better for me to get in those tighter areas, more detail work. The powder brush, so this was designed for powder, but this fluffier end actually works amazing for applying your main highlight foundation. It's really soft, but it has just enough denseness that you can get a little fuller coverage with it. That one's also 40% off. This one I think this is the most full coverage brush that we have. It's a buff brush, and both ends are angled. There's a little bit larger end and a smaller end, so that's good for getting in those smaller areas as well. I don't really like to do a lot of full coverage, so I don't use this one a lot, but I will today just to show you. So you can tap it right into the product, and then using a tapping motion, I apply it to my face. And that's just a little more of a full coverage. Okay. The smudge brush, this is the one that you'll see me using a lot when I'm applying, when I'm highlighting and contouring. This one works really well for this smaller end has a little bit of an angle to it, and I will use it to apply my contour. It's more for detailed work. I don't know, I feel like I can be a little more accurate in my placement when I use a smaller brush like this. I kind of have a smaller face, my forehead is small, and things get kind of out of control if I use a big brush. So it's a personal preference, but I kind of like using this smudge brush to apply my contour. Sometimes I will contour my nose with using my fingers because I can be a little more accurate that way. And then I use the little bit larger end for my brightening highlight. To highlight the center of my face. The areas we want to draw attention to, our eyes and our smile. And then I would use that same larger end of the smudge brush, go into the main highlight, aka foundation. And a lot of times I will just do lines, adding my foundation everywhere where I haven't already applied a brightening highlight or a contour. Some people like to do dots. It's just personal preference. I find that if I just do lines, it's easier for me to blend. And then, excuse me, I just go right in and get a little bit of lip and cheek color. This one's Tango. It's already sold out. It was on the 40% off sale. So I have Ibiza on my lips. I put it on my lips already. Ibiza is 40% off in the sale. It's a very, very light shade, kind of a neutral pink. It's really pretty, but very light. So if you like a little more color, this one might be too light for you. Okay, and then I'm just going to use this powder brush to blend today to show you. I've been really sick all week, so I can't think real clearly right now. My head feels like it's going to explode. But I wanted to come on and showcase some of these things while this summer sale is still going on. And if you have been thinking about it and you want a really good deal with these 40% off, now is the time to do it, and do not hesitate, because I was placing my order at 2:30 this morning because I know that everything sells out really fast when they have these good sales, and I wanted to make sure that I got those products that I wanted, my favorites. I'm going to showcase some of the eyeshadows here in a minute that are 40% off right now and show you what they look like. I know it's really hard when you're looking online, just looking at pictures. It's hard to tell what the colors really look like. So I just kind of do like a tapping, slightly swiping motion with the fluffier end of this powder brush. I think I called it a buff brush, but this is the powder brush, so it has a very dense, which you also could use for contouring, and then the fluffier end that is slightly angled. It's super soft, and it blends everything really well. So I'm just kind of tapping, slightly swiping up to keep everything moving upward. You don't want to drag anything down. Gravity does that all on its own. It doesn't need any help from me. So hopefully I've got that all blended. Okay, so the eyeshadow brush. This is one of my very favorite brushes. It works amazing for eyeshadow. It's on 40% off. If this one sells out, there is another brush that is similar to this that's also 40% off. I believe it's called the Blur brush maybe. So this has a fluffier end for applying the eyeshadow and blending it, and this kind of smaller, tighter end is really good for more detailed work, more concentration of pigment. It's really good for using your shadow to line your under eye. I put together a little palette here. All of these colors are on 40% off except for this one. I added in this one kind of neutral color here, Cafe. It is not on sale, but all the other colors are on sale. I think I'm going to be a little crazy and do one eye with 4 colors and then use 4 different colors on the other eye so that I can show you 2 different looks with different colors. So I think first I'm going to start off with this Havana. It's a really pretty matte, kind of lighter, light to medium shade, kind of peachy. I'm just applying that from the crease up to the brow bone, windshield wiper motions. And this is pretty all by itself. I mean, you could just do one color. It's really good for bringing out the green and the blue in your eyes. This one here is Kiss. This is 40% off. It's one of my favorites. It was a shade of the month a while back. It is a peachy shimmer. I'm just gonna apply that on my lid, kind of center out to the outside corner. I also like to use this. You can add it on your cheeks and you can add it to your lip color, and it's gorgeous. Okay. Now, this is Eternal. I have not used this yet. This is the shade of the month for June. This will be the first time I'm using it. I'm gonna apply it in the outside corner. This is going to be really good for, especially for green eyes, hazel and green. So it has a lot of kind of red tone to it. So I'm just tapping that in that outside corner crease area, kind of coming down to the lash line, bringing it up onto the brow bone, into the crease a little. You could take a little bit on that denser end of the brush, kind of line that lower lash, and dab it in to get a little more concentration of pigment if you want it a little more dramatic. This one is Crush. This is kind of a peachy shimmer. This is one of my favorites as well. I'm gonna apply that kind of more from center to inner corner on the lid. And this will kind of make it pop. Now this is where you could use this eyeshadow brush and really spend time blending. A lot of times I will get my blend brush and use it to just kind of soften or blend out any harsh lines. So that's pretty. Okay. Now I don't know what I'm doing on the other eye. I don't have a plan here, guys. I'm going to show you these other shades. On the other eye, I'm going to start with Havana again, because it's a matte shade. I'm just going to apply a little bit from crease up to the brow bone. I'm going to add in a little Cafe. This one is not on sale, but it's more of a neutral tone. I think some people don't necessarily want all of these warm colors, so I thought I'd better add in something that's a little more neutral. So this is Cafe in the crease and the outer corner, bringing it down to the lash line. Cranberry is another all-time favorite of mine. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's kind of a berry brown-ish color. I'm gonna apply that on my lid. So this cranberry is really pretty all by itself as well. Just kind of dabbing that on. Eve. It's a dark kind of purpley berry color. I'm going to add that in that outer corner. Kind of making a little bit of a V here, going into the crease a little bit and down to the lash line. You can use this one also if you like a little bit of a darker shade to line your lower lash. That looks really pretty. Okay, so this is Moscow. It is also 40% off, and it is kind of it has an orangey tint to it. It has some shimmer, kind of a peachy orange. It has a little more orange than the Kiss. The Kiss is more on the peach side. I'm just gonna apply a little bit here so you can see it. So that went a little darker. I'm gonna blend. So this side has a little more purple in it because of that Eve that I applied here. And I added a little bit of neutral as a base. They don't look hugely different. The color choices are similar, but I wish I could swatch these better for you. So this one is Eve. It looks brown, but it's pretty purpley. This one is Eternal. It's a matte, dark, kind of reddish. It doesn't come across that way in the pictures. Cranberry. These aren't showing up very good. Well, hopefully you can see it on my eyes. Can't go wrong with any of those shades. They're beautiful. And you control the pigment. They're very highly pigmented, but you can apply them very subtly and lightly, and you can blend, or you can make them very dramatic. I'm gonna apply a little bit of mascara to finish the look. Okay, so I applied a little bit of mascara, and I almost forgot that this brush is also 40% off. I got mascara on it. I use this one for my eyebrows with a little bit of brow wax, but I also, I don't know if you can see there, I got messy with my mascara. So when that happens, if you just wait for a minute for it to dry, and then you use your spoolie and just very gently and softly go over it, and takes it away without smearing and making a big mess. So this one is also 40% off. The spoolie on one end, and it has a very fine liner tip, so you can use this for eyeliner, but you also, I mostly use it for coloring in my brows. It's very fine, angled for detail work. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to put the link in for the summer sale, and take a look and get your 40% off. And don't forget the shade of the month, Eternal. It is not on sale, but it will only be here for June, and it's beautiful.